Hello everyone, hello my friends all over the world. I hope that your families are healthy, that you're staying home. So I'm reading this article and like every one of you around the world, everyone is thinking, okay, everyone is trying to understand what's going on, what happened, why are we here today? I think by now everyone agreed that Chinese government is a big reason of where we are. Simply they knew about the virus, they hide it, spread out. 10,451 flights from January 1st to January 21st, spread all over the world, 1,071 flights out of Wuhan, 390,000 passengers from China to the US in 20 days. So if you're wondering why the US is the center of pandemic right now, it's just because we are the most people who do trades with the Chinese government, and we are the most people who have Chinese, citizens flying to us. And especially if you look where it started in California, and this is the closest part of the US to the Chinese territory, and then went to New York, and New York, that's mainly because a lot of flights were coming from Italy and Spain and from all over the world. So this is the price you pay when you're just the largest economy in the world. Everyone around the world come to see you, everyone around the world come to want to do trade with you. 390,000 people from China to the US before January 21st. Okay, by January 24th, the Chinese government locked it down. So other people who are saying, but listen, when I said yesterday that why Africa is not spreading in Africa, why it is not spreading in the poor countries, why it's only in the large countries, US, Germany, France, Spain, United Kingdom, and the prime minister over there is in ICU, as is, okay. And the largest 20 economies in the world are the ones that getting hit the most. People are like, well, because they are trading more with China. Okay, by the way, they are the same people who are defending the Chinese government, but that's okay. But how about the poor countries that, number one, they don't have enough education, they are poor, and they don't have that many cases. Only 5 or 6 people. Look at it. I'm from Egypt, okay, originally 104 million people. Cairo is a city of 20 million people. And we have at least 4 flights per day with China, at least, right? We have 1,100 cases in the whole country, 23% under poverty, 15% literacy, and thank God, I don't want to spread, okay? But when people over there are calling me saying, we are scared, oh my God, I'm like, you're scared with 1,100 cases and we have more than 500 people die every single day from car accident. And that didn't stop people from driving crazy. Anyway, so we know who's behind it. We know who got us where we are. With other people help, we'll get to this later. But here is what really got me to make this video right now. Dr. Fuji, who I actually really like this guy, okay? And I think all of us like this guy. He's centric, he's trying, to think before he speaks. Very smart guy, very professional. But yesterday he had an article in CNBC, and it's right here, I printed out. And here's the thing that really scares me. I'm super scared for my future and my kids' future, not just in America, but all around the world. I want you to hear this, okay? When we say getting back to normal, we mean something very different from what we are going through now. Because right now, we are in a very intense mitigation. If back to normal means acting like there was never a coronavirus problem, I don't think that's going to happen until we do have a situation where you can completely protect the population with a vaccine. So Dr. Fuji is telling everyone, we will never get our lives back till we have a vaccine. Okay. In the same interview, Dr. Fuji said he doesn't think that life will ever be back to normal. Okay? It will always be a looming threat in our society. Dr. Fuji thinks that this virus is gonna keep coming back every year. Okay. He also said this, currently 10 different therapeutic agents are in active trials and some are looking incredibly successful. But they have to go through a process, and there's going to be a quick process based on what the FDA told me. He said another 15 potential treatments are working toward clinical trials, so they are advancing rapidly. So let me get this straight. You just said there's literally 25 companies are working on a vaccination and treatment right now. But you also said that the world will never be back. We will never get our life back till everyone gets vaccinated. Why? Spanish flu 1918, 50 million people died. We got our life back. SARS 2003, We got our life back. N1, H1N1, 2009, 2010, 13,000 dead, 60 million people got infected. We got our life back. Hurricanes, tornadoes, we get our life back. Wars, and we get our life back. Why this one will not allow us to get our life back? Why? Because you're taking our freedoms? Is this why we'll never get it back? Because we're so locked? By the way, here's a quick fun fact. The word quarantine comes from an Italian word called quarantino, which means 40 days. And this rule was discovered by a scientist. His name is Ibn Sina. Ibn Sina, okay. Over 1,000 years ago, when there was a pandemic in the Middle East and hundreds of thousands of people died, and he came up with the idea everyone should be locked in his home for 40 days. Just stay home, no one leave. After 40 days, pandemic is over. Chinese locked down Wuhan January 24th. The Chinese opened it back 40 days exactly later. So if you're thinking, when should we open? Think about quarantine, it's 40 days. But the flu kills 60,000 people a year, and they are giving vaccinations for free at the pharmacies. But we get our life back. Why, Dr. Fuji, you said we're not gonna get our life back? Is it because your friend, Bill Gates, just said yesterday in his interview with Trevor Noah, and by the way, I'm gonna do a video on YouTube and put all of these resources, but he said it was his own mouth, okay? And a year ago in TEDx, he said the world pollution and the ecosystem is going down quickly, and the difference between people in the advanced countries and people in poor countries is each one of us live in America or Europe or Australia or New Zealand, we produce 29 tons of CO2 versus anyone lives in Africa produce 1 ton. So the people in the advanced world, we are the threat to the earth. Is this why we need to be eliminated? I don't know. Is this why Mr. Gates just said that 7 billion human beings need to get vaccination? And he expect this to come back, and he said we're not gonna get our life back to normal. Why? I keep reading in pandemics, and this is no different than any other pandemic. We actually have more technology, we have more resources, we are way advanced in 2020 than we were in 1918. Why our life is not gonna come back to us? Are you taking our freedoms? Are you taking our liberties away? Is this what you're trying to do? All these dictatorships in the Middle East, you look at their countries, they have 500 cases, they have 300 cases. They have the army in the streets. The army in the streets. And their propaganda and the media all day long talking to people is, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. It's like Mockingbird. You know that movie? I remember that movie. That are we gonna end up in one world where we have one authoritative government and they're gonna break down the people according to their colors? Okay, the clothes. Are these crazy movies is turning into reality? Is this where we are today? Because every one of these scientists, except Dr. Gates, you're not a scientist, man. You're a computer programmer and you can't even find vaccination for the viruses in Microsoft. But beside that, okay, they are telling us we're not gonna get our life back. And when Trump said, let's do hydrochloroquine and let's use zinc, everyone made fun of him, and now every doctor from LA to Israel to Italy is saying actually it is working, and we're ordering. And yesterday in the briefing, the head of FEMA and the head of the Army Corps said we're ordering millions of it because it is working. But you don't want it to work, you don't want it to use it because what? You want us to wait till we get the vaccination that you invested money in? So you put $100 million, which, by the way, Mr. Gates, here is a big question. I digged into the Gates Foundation. I looked into the numbers, and I love numbers, okay? They donated millions and millions of dollars for vaccination, but $100 million went to China in February. The Chinese president actually wrote him a letter thanking him. Not a single dollar to New York City, to the hospitals, to the medical staff, to the nurses, to the equipment. Not a single dollar to New York City, man. Guess what? This country is where you made your billions of dollars. Don't you think that this country deserves some money? I know you're investing in vaccination, and I know that you said that 7 billion people need to get this vaccination, which if it is $1 per vaccination, that's $7 billion made for $100 million investment. That's a really good investment you made. But anyway, put this on the side. How's New York? Why I don't see you buying medical supplies to California, to Louisiana, to Michigan, to Florida, to Connecticut, to New Jersey, to Rhode Island? We're getting hit everywhere. I don't see any news that you're donating to the people, because I know you're donating in vaccinations, but it take 12 to 18 months to develop one, but people are dying now. Right now, people are dying. Don't you think $50 million of equipment, which is peanuts for you, will help New York, the hospitals? Will help California, will help New Orleans? I think it will. Another thing that Mr. Gates said that is very scary, and I don't know why no one caught on it, and he just said it last night to Trevor Noah. You can search it on YouTube. When Trevor Noah asked him, what keeps you up at night? Mr. Gates replied back, said that the next one could be a terrorist biological attack. Read this again. A terrorist biological attack. So according to Mr. Gates, who warned us about that disease or this virus 5 years ago, he thinks that this could be the next one. But wait, didn't you say that there's no way this virus can be man-made? You guys said that. Everyone yelled at us and said, well, maybe, and everyone said, scientists said that no one can make viruses. But Mr. Gates just said that this could be the next threat, biological terrorist attack. That's why everyone needs to get vaccination. So terrorists sitting in caves can come up with a virus, but labs for governments, huge economies, can create a virus? Just a question. So we will not get our life back. That they think that everyone needs to be vaccinated, the 7 billion people on Earth, that they think that there's too many people on planet Earth and the planet Earth is paying the price and the ecosystem is failing. They are talking about vaccination, which will take 6 to 12 months. They also say, millions of people will die. Every single soul counts. That's why we say stay home, stay safe. Like I said, quarantine was not created 3 weeks ago. It was created 1,000 years ago, because humanity have been through pandemics one after another, Zika, AIDS, HIV. I mean, you name it, man. We had pandemics one after another. This one feels way different. This one is more political in nature. This one is more attacking in nature. This one is destroying economies. You're worried about people dying, catching coronavirus. How about people now committing suicides? They are losing jobs. How about all these waitresses can't find a single job to make $1 to their family, man? How about the truck drivers? How about the daily labor across the world that they earn their income day by day and now they don't have a job? What do you think is going to happen to these families? Think about the suicide rate. Think about the abuse is happening right now in every home. Think about the destruction of businesses. Think about social unrest. Last month, one of my friends, Kanan, he shared this with me. Last month, there was 2.5 million guns sold in the United States. This means that 75% of the population bought a gun. 3 in every 4 Americans bought a gun last month. Do you get the picture right now? The control, the media, brainwashing. They are talking about death rate, but they are not talking about recovery. They are not telling you how many people are recovered. They don't want you to get hope. They want you to be a slave to their screen, to be stressed out, for your blood pressure to go up. Okay? All what they want is for you, come November, vote everyone out of office. So, here's another thing. This guy, Tedros, the World Health Organization. This guy The World Health Organization didn't announce it was a pandemic till March 11th. For those people who are blaming Trump or blaming any administration, say we were too slow to act. The World Health Organization did not announce it was a pandemic till March 11th. You know what happened then? China had allowed it already controlled. The World Health Organization is praising the Chinese government for the way how it handled it. But the same World Health Organization cannot get its own people in China to find out what happened. The same World Health Organization cannot find how many people the Chinese government tested. Go look at any statistic, you'll find zero. The Chinese government is not sharing with us how they controlled it. The Chinese government is not sharing with us how they did that, how they locked it down. No one knows. By miracle, it went up, it went down, it stopped. Today they only announced that they had 30 cases, which I'm sure from 1.6 billion people, 30 cases, I mean, more people will die out of mosquitoes bites than coronavirus in China now. But what? 10 million people in America lost their jobs in the last 2 weeks, and this number is going to be doubled and tripled and quadrupled. While this guy, because he was the foreign minister of Ethiopia 2012-2017, at the time they were building a dam on the River Nile, they took $1.8 billion from the Chinese government for the dam that he was responsible for. This guy, by the way, if you search his background, was was accused of covering for massacres in his own country in Ethiopia, or how he handled the numbers in Kenya. And now he is the head of the World Health Organization, and he's praising the Chinese government. This guy needs to go. The medical, one thing, we need to all line behind our medical teams around the country and around the world. But in America, all their student loans need to be forgiven. All their student loans need to be forgiven for good. Just like we forgive the people in the Army and the Navy and the Marines for defending us. On the front line, the medical team have to have their loans. They cannot be dealing with virus, risking their lives and their loved one lives, and go home worry about making a student loan. We can afford forgiving all the student loans for all the medical and first responders in America. Every single one of them should have his loan forgiven immediately. Just like we came up with $4 trillion to help small businesses, we come up with $100-200 billion to make sure the medical staff have only one thing in his mind, is how to save life. So please forgive all the student loans for the medical staff around the country and the first responders. And the one last thing, for us, if there's one thing we need to learn from this, is we can't depend on anyone for our medical supplies or food. We just cannot depend on this. So I know you see it upside down, but it's a boycott made in China. This what we need to do. I bought a bike for my daughter. 2 bikes back to back from Walmart for $39 exactly. I was happy for the good deal. Both bikes didn't last for a week and they are garbage in the garage right now. I ended up having to buy a bike from India, made in India, for $120. Okay, so the cheap shit doesn't last anyway. The cheap shit is killing us. Okay, they are not gonna build their economy on our lives and the lives in England, the lives in Italy, the lives in Spain, the lives in New Zealand, the lives in Australia, the lives in Egypt, the lives in Saudi and Brazil, in Colombia, in Russia. They are not gonna build their economy on our lives. And bring back this, man, made in USA. Please bring back this, made in USA. And the solution is easy, okay? Go ahead. Legalize the non-documents who are here in the country, give them papers, don't give them citizenship, make them pay taxes, track them. But we need cheap labor to have the people to buy made in America. We have the best built-in products in the world. We just need to build more. Medical supplies, just like we have the Silicon Valley, let's have a medical valley. Let's have a food valley, okay? Let's bring people. There's nothing can help the United States industrials than immigration. Think about it. China was 1.6 billion people. They used to have the one-child policy. Now they have 2-child policy. You can have 2 kids in China. They're 1.6. They need more people. We need more people. And the only way to get it, get immigration through the right way, get them in. And one last thing, please, all these people who are attacking Trump non-stop, and I have to remind you, I didn't vote for him, but you are wasting our time and energy. Keep asking, did he start slow? Did he respond slow? Who gives a shit? We are here today. Come up with solution or shut the hell up. Either come up with a solution, but don't act like the stupid CNN reporter in every briefing every day. Could you have done better? How do you rate yourself from 1 to 10? Who gives a damn, man? We need to get out of this. People are getting depressed. People are committing suicides. People are losing their jobs. People are sending me messages. They don't know how to feed their kids tomorrow. And you talking about if Trump handled this good or no. Look for the reason behind the damn virus. This is not time to attack Trump. You have 6 months by election. Please go and vote him out if you want to. No one will ask you what you did. But for now, it's another September 12th, the day after we woke up from September 11th and had the country hated George W. Bush. And everyone know what happened in the elections in 2000 against Al Gore. But when September 11 hit, September 12 we woke up and it was united we stand. And this is much harder than September 11. So united we stand with the people. Nut this shit up, support each other, look for the facts, and be safe and stay home, please, so we can beat this. Have a great day.